trip. All right.
Not even tripping. What is sideways though? Hold on.
12, 11.
Today is number 13.
Number 13 podcast.
Yeah.
5:17 p.m. January 10th. 51% battery.
Where's the actual timer on that? It's weird. We're still a little crooked, but
7 Bravos or 14s?
7 Bravos or 14? Depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
Nobody's even using. The reality is, well, I take it back. Guys are still using regular dudes are still using 14s.
If you're going to drive, what would you want?
I really don't think it matters.
I don't either. So I've got both. But I find myself, like, for just around the property and shit.
Well, I take it back. It depends for driving. It depends on what it depends on what kind of mount you have. If you have the standard 1980s issued head mount, Skull Crusher, that does not allow you to flip the goggles up, then you want a 14. You want to go with a single. That way...
I didn't say 8-track tapes.
Well, I'm just saying, then you want to go with a single, because that way, if you have a light correction where the lights come on, you can still see with your other eye.
Have you ever driven with just one eye like that?
Yeah.
With a single?
Yeah.
Doesn't bother you? You don't notice it?
That's the way we do it.
I know, but it depends who we is.
Well, when I say
we, the real guys.
When I say we, I'm talking about the actual warfighters. I'm not talking about ninjas who swoop in the middle of the night, shoot 3 rounds out of their gun, and then swoop on back to steaks and beer. I'm not talking about those guys.
That was you. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the guys that are on the street corner every fucking day.
I've got some Anvis 5s.
Anvis 5s, okay.
Aviation. Uh-huh. Super clear, fucking cool. Have a little thing that you can move them closer and further away, you know. I've got some Wilcox mounts. I need to get a good just helmet to put them on. Like I've got those shitty fake ones. Well, I want carbon fiber for weight because I want to use it when I'm mowing.
You want to look at Team Windy.
Yeah, I don't think we have a Team Windy hookup though.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Of course we do.
Yeah, maybe. Team Windy. That's carbon. If you're looking carbon fiber, or you're just looking for a bump helmet.
That's what I want. Bump.
Yeah,
helmet.
I would go with Team Windy.
So, I've got the 14s. I have some 14s, and they're neat. And then I've got that thermal thing, and it's neat. But I've got the Bravos, and I have several sets of. Well, I have more 14s than Bravos, but the Bravos were for walking around in the woods. Like walking in the dark, out in the middle of nowhere, the Bravos just seem better for that.
It's probably because you're using both eyes.
Yeah.
With the Bravos versus just using a single eye, because then if one eye is in the dark and the other eye is in night vision, no matter what you think, the eye that is in the clear is still straining to see what you can actually see with the night vision eye. That's why all the ninjas, all the guys that swoop in the middle of the night and steal your luggage and then swoop on out, all those guys, that's why they're wearing, 4 optical devices, or at the very least, everybody's running around with 2.
Those things are for sale now. You can get that shit.
Yeah, you got the fucking, if you want to, it's your choice of driving a Porsche. It's your choice of driving a Porsche or carrying some cool night vision. There's Fendi.
What about what's the phosphorus?
I have not played with any of the phosphorus stuff.
James seems to really like everybody I see says, spend the extra money and get that shit. What's the thing you have?
I just have the Anvis. I want to say they're, I don't know, Charlie's or something, but it's just a single. It's exactly like exactly like a PVS 14. The difference is I can convert mine to go on to Canon cameras.
Do you remember when you got that? Do you remember when you guys first got those AM PVS 10s? Mm-hmm. It was 10s, right?
Yeah,
looked like a fucking thermos with like a lid. It looked like a spotting scope.
I would love if you know somebody out there, probably in Texas, that has a PVS 10 and is interested. I would love to have a PVS 10.
Why in Texas?
That's where they made them.
You know that thing is like You know that thing's like
Yeah, it's
fucking. You just want it because it has the reticles in it.
No, I just want it because it's something that we.
So
Yeah, we ran through. It's the same thing. I want a PVS.
the same reason you want to fucking prick 10.
Yeah, I want a PVS 4 to put on an M16A2. So because I carried one of those. So
You had a
same thing.
PVS 4.
Yeah, when I first got in.
That was in Vietnam.
Yep.
You need to remake. You need the M1 carbine.
All the cool.
You need the M1 carbine with the bipod on it, and that fucking AMPVS 2 with the fucking. It looks like a sound listening device. That fucking IR light.
All the cool. You know, the reality is,
Yeah.
all the really cool night vision is not very old.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not really not very
it's
old.
leaps and bounds, man.
Yeah.
And you got to figure if you're seeing it on fucking SEAL Team, whatever. Tyler Gray, love you, man. I like that show. I think that whoever their tech guy is fucking really good. That's a well produced show. But if you're seeing it on TV, you know whatever they're using is fucking way beyond that.
They were actually called Staple Tunes back then.
Which stood for
surveillance target acquisition. We had a TVS 5 and a
TVS?
Yeah, TVS 5. And a TVS 5 was at the time was the military's cutting edge, long range night vision device. And just picture a PVS 4 but with a lens about this big around. And you were supposed to carry that out in the field, put it on a tripod, and you'd just be out there looking.
Heath had something like that was a thermal imager off of a tank.
Okay, yeah, probably.
So when they're sitting on the border, React would be down there and they're fucking glassing off that. But it had I want to say it took 2 people to carry it because it was like a tripod and then that thing. Well, remember that Raytheon thermal imaging?
Yeah, it's a.
You had to turn it on. It had like chiller circuits.
320.
It had to cool off for like 2 minutes before it would do anything.
Yeah.
So I have a little handheld one, and if you have night vision, the thermal is of no fucking use. Like the only use it had, the coolest thing that ever happened with it, because there was like 10 of us at the house at the old house, and we fucking the dog took a shit in the front yard. So you could it was totally different color. Otherwise, it's fucking of no use.
Actually, now they have an integration system where you can take your handheld thermal and put it on your night vision, and it has a lens that looks right into the bottom of your normal night vision device. And so when you look down range, you get all the benefits of night vision. So you still see everything with night vision, but you also get the heat signature from the thermal. So if you're looking at, if you're looking at tree line, you see tree line. But with the integration of the system, you can see the heat signature within the tree line. So it's pretty cool.
First time we saw thermal on a movie, what was that, Predator?
Predator, probably, yeah.
And then there was a Schwarzenegger one where they were going around and finding people and blasting them through walls. That's the thermal I want, where I can just look through a brick wall, know where you're at, shoot you with the fucking plasma rifle, that kind of shit.
They have it.
What's up, guys? It's Thursday.
It is Thursday.
This week has gone so fast.
Well, go pretty fast.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Nick's at Kung Fu.
Nick's at ninja class. If you guys like these podcasts, just support us, buy some product from us somewhere down the road. You can always support us by using our Amazon link, which is on the website at soetacticalgear.com. If you just click that Amazon button at the bottom there, it'll take you to Amazon. Anything you buy in the next 48 hours, we get a little percentage off of. That's a way to help support us if you like what we're doing and you want to be a part of what we're doing. We have a party or two a year. Anybody's welcome to when we do that. It's going to be here before you know it, man. We're going to be at Blade Show coming up. I know you guys are like, that's 6 months away. That's in June.
Yeah,
before
right
you know it, it will be here. As you get older, people always said, time speeds up. As you get older, time passes faster. And I definitely get more shit done now, and I'm having a good time. But time moves faster, and I think that's just as you get old. I told Cody that, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm starting to notice it." Motherfucker, you're 20 years. You can't even drink fucking booze yet. What the fuck? You're not noticing shit.
You ain't noticing
They
shit.
said when I bought that big truck, dudes were like, "You're gonna feel that as you get older." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like I was jumping out of that. I have a truck on 37s. It's big, 8 or 11 inches of lift, Ford Super Duty, and I just drop out of there. I wouldn't even use that little side step. And then one day, I started noticing it. When we first moved into the old shop, there was just a loading dock, and it's probably like a 3-foot hop, a skip and a hop. and I got some stairs and started crawling. I'd step like I'm, and it's not that you can't do it. It's that as you get older, you realize that you cannot afford the time. You can't afford the time the injury takes.
Yeah.
Like with an injury, I'm out of the gym. With an injury, everything's slower. And God forbid, fucking something really catastrophic did happen. Survival situation kind of shit with an injury. So I don't know why I got on it. We got some questions here. Some dudes that asked yesterday. I really this one is troublesome to me.
What's the question?
It's Trevor. He just has a picture of a baby with a beer smoking a cigarette. I know it's not him, but like that picture, I see guys use that picture all the time. Like, whose fucking kid is that?
That's an 80s kid. That's an 80s kid.
That's a 70s kid.
That's probably 78.
Do you remember riding around in the car?
That's totally legal. You could have your baby smoking cigarettes back then.
Yeah, and your pet chimpanzee.
Yeah.
You remember riding in a car with no seatbelt?
Oh, fuck yeah. You would slide around in my dad's car. You'd be sliding around in the back seat. It was awesome.
I never wanted to, though. Like, I always wanted to have the seatbelt on.
I never... When we would go... Because my dad had a Cuda, believe it or not, just as a normal driving car. And I don't think that fucking car had... there's no way it had seatbelts in the back seat. And you just slide... As he's driving, you'd just be sliding around in the back. And then in the back window where the speakers were, it had this weird... It was like a particle board. It was like a particle board that had holes all through it. And it was, where the speakers were in the back. And man, one day, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know where we were going.
Popped a hole through that motherfucker?
No, yeah, it was, you could see the crack. And so I was back there, like, creating a hole, just digging through this thing. Oh man, he beat the hell out of me for that.
I remember, not car related. Like we had a Pontiac Grand Am. It's like the first car I remember. It was white and had like red, white, and blue pinstripes down the side, and that nose was like this rubber that the paint had kind of come off. But it was a big fucking V8 car,
yeah,
you know.
Big
it was
V8,
real
man.
made of metal kind of shit.
My brother had a set. I want to say it was a '68 Nova, whatever. But it was, it was that.
American Muscle kind of
shit. It was
shit.
American Muscle car, and it was I'm rebuilding this car, and the engine sat in our garage forever. But man, I used to sneak in that car. Like all the time, and just be like pretending I'm driving this car. I'm gonna get this car. He's gonna sell me this car.
That's the difference between kids when we were kids and nowadays. Because,
oh yeah, they don't give a shit about cars now.
Well, that little motherfucker out there, he would have taken the car.
Yeah. Man, they don't give a shit about cars now.
So we got some questions. What sizes are the rifle case options? See, that's where you're confused. There are no options.
No options whatsoever.
No options. I don't even know what you're talking about, a rifle case. You fucking must be drunk, motherfucker. Jose says, you each get one superpower. Go. Me. Predict the future. That wouldn't, what good is that if you don't have more superhero powers?
Well, I mean, if you can predict the future, you can definitely play the market and become a billionaire, and then you could buy cool cool cars that drive real fast and suits that make you fly and shit like that. You could be Batman. Batman has no superhero powers. Yeah, he's just a rich dude.
Who wants to be Batman when you could be Iron Man?
And he's not even. Well, okay, you could be Iron Man, but he's not. You think about it.
Wait, like 4 Batmans ago, or recent Batman where he's like, "This really hurts."
I would say 4 Batmans ago. But, you think all he does is pay people to make him cool shit. At least Iron Man, he experiments to make cool shit.
Yeah. He's kind of... That's the difference between like a knife maker and Mick Strider.
Yeah.
Like Mick has a lot of cool shit and has the capability to have cool shit made.
Yes.
Dwayne's got a lot of cool shit, but Dwayne's more like worried about what we're going to make the cool shit out of.
Yeah, what kind of ninja material it's going to be.
Whereas I'm like, let's just go steal that fire hydrant and we'll fucking chop saw that motherfucker and make a knife. Dwayne's like, let's go down to Russia and harvest the sand and get the titanium out of the sand. Where Mick's like, fuck it, we're just going to take these 4 cars and make one out of it.
Yeah.
Mike Reeves.
You didn't say what your superpower would be, though.
Like to see chicks naked. No, that one doesn't work anymore. I'd like to make people's heads explode. How about
like scanners, where you just concentrate them on real hard and their nose starts to bleed and their head explodes? You remember that movie?
like really explodes? Like
Yeah,
boom.
really explodes.
Like,
boom.
yeah, we can't sell this car. There's head all over it.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to be able to just force you to do things. I'd like to be able to shoot lasers. I'd like to have a laser that just like shoots. I don't want it to be incorporated into my body or anything.
Just a
I just
laser
want
shoot.
to like be able to laser people. I don't know. If you had 3 wishes, what would your first wish be? I've seen all those jinn movies, those genies. They always fuck you up. There's a new Aladdin coming out. Looks pretty good, by the way.
You got to save one wish to the end. Don't use all 3 wishes.
What about wish for a million more wishes? That's what every kid says. I remember having that conversation by the monkey bars in 4th grade. We see the dog. This is funny. We see the dogs in the background a lot, but when you interact with them, they go nuts. So you play with them a lot. Talk about the type. We don't really play with them like those. Those dogs out there are more tools, kind of like they're. If you're like you got to pick one dog, I'd pick Lightning. She's the little Catahoula mixed with Border Collie. Smart, definitely loving, probably the most loyal of them. Bear, fucking Aussie, man, fucking Australian Shepherd, hyperactive, great dog. Definitely when I walk through there on the Alpha, fucking anybody else goes, and I'm sure Josh is too. But like Sebastian, the dogs jump all over Sebastian, fucking hump his head. Not anymore, but people go in there and like they come out with dog shit, not shit, but like it's 3 acres of fucking rotted, wood chips and mud and goat shit. The 2 other dogs, every dog on the property will come up as soon as you cross that gate threshold and check you out, and you'll pet them and everything. And while you're out there doing work, they're following you around, and they're very friendly dogs. Unless you're not supposed to be there, like they sense that. But those Pyrenees, they're out there to protect the flock. Everything inside of the main perimeter fence, the dogs can patrol all the way around where all the other animals are. So, coyotes, anything like that. The dogs do more damage to the animals than any fucking.
Except for Taco. Taco doesn't. Taco's pretty good. Than
any other dog has ever, or animal at all. Like there's not anything coming in there to fuck with those animals for sure. But there's a sister Anatolian mixed with Pyrenees is what they are. One looks like she's complete Pyrenees. The other one has some gray in her. And then that's the dog. And then we have a goat that thinks it's a dog. When we gave all the goats away, this family came. They lassoed them, took all the goats. One of them hid, and this goat popped up like 3 days later. We didn't even know it was out there. It hid so well. Somebody's like, "Oh, you got another goat?" I'm like, "I didn't get any fucking goat. Like we are done with fucking goats.
The goats are gone. The goats are gone."
Everybody's like, "Oh, get goats!" Like when we came on the property, everything had thorns on it, or needles, or a seed pod you didn't want. It was just because they cut the property, and then it just sat here, and it was all that gravel. So the only thing that really grew was shit you didn't want, or pine trees and little saplings. Saplings like spun up, like they just grow fucking 6 feet a year. So they're 18-foot tall saplings, super saturated, planted of them just where the seeds fell. So when we came on the property, we didn't even know all those pine trees were out there. But everything was brambles, wild like rose bushes, just vines, man. And a vine that'll grow like 100 feet up in the trees and shit. Just thorns. I literally go through there. As soon as it starts to warm up, I go through there with clippers. And as I'm walking the trails and shit, I'm cutting every one of those fucking thorn bushes. But they're like, get goats. It'll eat everything. No, goats don't eat a fucking thing that you don't want. They only eat the shit you do want. Like they'll eat all the bark off your beautiful pine trees. They'll eat all the bark and twigs off of anything that produces anything you want. They'll eat vinyl off your fucking Porsche, like your fucking badging. They'll eat fucking anything, man. But other than and they'll get on the hood of your car. They'll get up here and eat a fucking aluminum can that was sitting up, but they won't eat the shit you want. Different situation from the beginning. Goats are fine. To have goats, like goats would be great if you were actually, because they do produce. They produce really well.
They produce really
well. At one point, we had fucking almost 40 of them. If you're going to eat them, awesome. If you're going to use the milk, awesome. We were milking them every morning. Lance was milking them. We just didn't ever do anything with the milk. We definitely know how to do it now. We've done it. We know what's involved with it. You got to vaccinate them. Like we had a vet here once a year, rounding them up and giving them shots and all kind. A goat can get syphilis in its eye. We know that. I don't. Lance, you should.
You're gonna know, Lance. Come on, man.
Are you flipping or renting your houses you found for sale? No, we never did do that. Zoning was not what we originally thought it was, so we never went into that area. A piece of advice you tell your younger self. A lot of these are fucking questions we've already done. Piece of advice. What would you do?
I would tell younger self. Well, I think I already said that. I would tell younger self to don't worry about the glory. Go to the academy. Become an officer.
You'd be at the fucking Pentagon right now if you did.
That's all right. I'd be at the Pentagon and I'd be looking at walking out of retirement with 6 figures. Those motherfuckers are walking out of there with 6 figures, and their knees are still good. Their back is fine.
We wouldn't know each other.
You don't know that.
You and Gina wouldn't know each other.
I know. Probably not. It would change everything. It would completely change everything.
You'd find me.
Maybe.
What would you tell me?
What would I tell you?
Yeah.
I don't think I could tell you anything. I don't think I could tell you anything that you would listen to. Like I would tell you, leave California.
For real?
That would be my number one.
For real?
That would actually probably be my number. And, if I joined the Army, then I would have never went back to California anyways. But it would have been leave California. Seek happiness elsewhere.
That's true.
Because if you don't think about it, if you'd have been here 20 years ago, then you would have been here during the heyday of when there was actually sowers out here. So you could have probably cultivated a...
Dude, we'd own everything fucking 5 miles around us.
You could have probably cultivated a good class of sowers, where it would have got passed down.
Shit is and as much as available and as much as you can do here now, and property costs and stuff like that, as far as you could go right now.
Just think.
Imagine what you could have done 20 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Just think of the if now see the problem would have been 20 years ago the internet, so that you would have had a problem of getting your goods out. But man, if the internet was still kicking and you were out here making the internet money, yeah, man, you could own Camden. Pretty close, I bet.
For real, you still can. There's a few people still that do own Camden.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. If you think back then,
I mean, we're talking, guys. There's $1,200 an acre land here right now. Imagine what it was 20 years ago.
Yep.
All these old buildings and shit just sitting around. Like, you can buy property here for fucking nothing. Like, people do that. They come in and buy a piece of property and then buy the next one, and then they buy one 4 over so that when the old lady in between dies, they can buy that one. Like, they are putting the original properties back together for sure. Along that line, like Jeff said, internet. Like, nowadays, like, we hear dudes like, I'm going to build a shopping cart. What the fuck are you waiting for? Like, you don't even have to build you don't have to program anymore.
Nope.
It is a fucking, like, I just did a video today using an app on my telephone, a 1-minute video that literally would have taken me 6 hours fucking just a couple years ago to do. We use Shopify for our shopping cart software. There's BigCommerce. There's a bunch of them, right? You don't have to know shit to put. If you can fucking have a Facebook page, you can have a fucking website. Like, it's crazy. So along those lines, that leads into this other one that we're gonna do here. Let me just skip to it.
What is it?
Oh, it's nothing bad. Could someone live in today's society? Because we talk about this. Could somebody live in today's society without a cell phone? Is the government forcing people to have them so they can be tracked? Yes. No, yes. Cell phone. Can you live without it? I look at everything as if the power goes off. I'm like when the power goes off, I'm like, oh shit, this might be it. Like that. Silence is loud. Like, silence is fucking loud. Of course we could. Could a kid not have? Could a 20-year-old? Okay, you're 18. Get the fuck out of the house. Could you live without a cell phone? You could. Are you going to be in business? You would be at a disadvantage without a cell phone. More and more. Like I have been. I hate using this. I hate Instagram because I can't do all the same shit from the laptop as I can from the phone. But more and more, I am just doing the same shit from the phone now. some of the apps like to do advertising on Instagram. You don't have a fucking choice. Like if you're going to do it and actually have that little button where they can highlight it and, you know, they see a product in a photo and they click it and it takes them straight to buy it. You have no choice. Like you're doing that shit on the phone. And Instagram has made you, to run that, you have to merge it with your Facebook page, and that has to be a business page. And they have to know your cell phone number. So when they turn your shit off, like everything, you go to set up another account, they know you got to get a different cell phone number to do that. Could you do it? Sure you could. You'd definitely be at an advantage. Are they making you do it? Who's they? Yeah, I would say they are. A lot of the head programmers came out from Google and Twitter and all these other groups and said, yeah, we put that heart button in there. Yes, we did that because there was an endorphin release. We wanted you to get positive reassurance from people that you didn't know, basically, and be locked into the phone and use our app. I mean, look at what Instagram's doing right now. Your reach is fucking minuscule. So what are they doing? They're putting it out to 5%. When you make a post and you've got 50,000 people on your page, they don't see it. They put it out to 5% of the people on your page. Many of whom don't even interact with you, so it's of no use. They're not doing any actions on it anyways. So they put it out to 5%, and that's kind of a test for the first 30 minutes, hour, how many people react. Well, if you want to boost that, you need to react to them. That's why you're seeing me go through right now, and I always ask a question. That's what you're seeing because I'm engaging you. What do you think of this? What's your favorite color? Is it cold? But whatever it is, I need you to comment. And then I go through and I heart all your comments. And then I actually reply. And it can't just be thanks, man. Because that's what I typically write is thank you or thanks, man. It has to be 3 words or more to trigger it.
Yeah, algorithm's looking for
so, and it's all the first hour there. So if I make a post and walk away or we go to the gym and come out, I've already missed that window. So yeah, they are doing it on purpose. But I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking, but what do you have along those lines?
I would say, we are a capitalist society, so whatever they can put in your hand to make you spend money and time, they're going to execute that. Now, in that same light, whatever you have in your hand or whatever device you have that connects you to the internet, the government is going to exploit in a way that's going to give them an advantage over you, whether that's spying on your phone or your computer or whatever. They're always going to exploit that no matter what. There was at no time when the fucking phone came out that I was like, oh, I wonder if the government's listening to these phones. They've been doing it since we got phones.
That we know that. They had 120, they had 117 phone lines tapped.
Yeah, so they're gonna exploit the technology to their advantage. And I'll give you a conspiracy theory. I'll give you my conspiracy theory example of that. So, back when President Obama was running around giving everybody their free phone, when all those lower income individuals were saying, "Where's my free phone? Where's my free phone?" and then the government was just giving it to them. And it was at the same time frame. It was the exact same time frame when the U.S. government, the FBI, the NSA, could not break into an iPhone. So they couldn't break into the iPhone. They couldn't take what was on that iPhone off and use it because the encryption was so good. So they couldn't do it.
And Apple told them to fuck off.
Yeah, and Apple told them to fuck off. So
that was short-lived.
I just want you to think about this. If your community is lower income, it's a lower income community, there's going to be a higher propensity of crime in that community, period. Usually it's going to be drugs, sex trafficking, prostitution in those communities. If you give everybody if the government gives you a free phone and they are paying the bill, you no longer have control of any of the information on the phone. They don't need a warrant to get into that phone, and they also don't need to contact Apple and go, hey, we need to get in this phone. They can use whatever information they want because it's their phone. You're just borrowing it.
Just like the projects. You had no Fourth Amendment rights.
You're just borrowing their phone. So it would be interesting to know after those phones, after the Obama phones hit the street, I kind of would like to know how much the arrest rates went up in those areas. But, the government's always going to exploit technology to their advantage. I mean, that's the whole thing right now. It's all about control. It's like the stuff with Nancy Pelosi. They want as much dirt on everybody as they possibly can. There was a female from down south somewhere. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she was going to run for Speaker of the House against Nancy Pelosi, and everybody was like, "You know what? That's probably a good idea. We don't need Nancy in there anymore because she's 4,000 years old." When she came out and said that, a news story broke about her affiliation with some no good doers. That news story was broke from Nancy Pelosi. She put that shit out there, and that lady, as soon as that news story broke, changed her tune completely. I'm not running for Speaker of the House. You can have it. It's all good to go. And the story died. It's all about having that little piece of information over your opponent. So that's why the NSA is collecting all that fucking information. So, when I run for, I don't know, president one day, they can be like, "Hey, remember that time you were doing that podcast in that bunker and you said all this bullshit? You better do exactly what," because they're going to use it in two ways. They're either going to use it to keeping you from being elected, or they're going to use it like they used it against Bush, Obama. They're going to be like, "Yes, you are president of the United States, but these are the things that you, as president of the United States, are going to sign off on, because we have all this." I mean, why do you think that it's such a big deal to get President Obama's college transcripts? Because they were using that information against him. So of course it's in their best interest to make sure that information doesn't get out, because the reality is, once the shit's out in the air, and once you throw it out on the street, you can't use it against them anymore. It's like it's too late. Yes, maybe my name's gonna be mud because I've been looking at shoe porn all for the last 20 years, but you can't blackmail me because of the shoe porn anymore.
What is shoe porn?
I don't know. I'm just using it as a.
I'm gonna do a shoe porn patch.
I'm just using it as a metaphor because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings if I say some fetish that you're into.
What communications do you have in your vehicle? Ham radio, CBs, wood for Indian smoke signals.
Who asked that?
Who asked it? Matthew.
Oh. The only communication device I have,
the cell phone,
is this thing right here.
Jeff carries around 2 soup cans too. He can eat the soup and then put the string between them.
I do have about. I have a rifle company's worth of communication equipment.
Field phones.
No, I mean, I got a rifle company's worth of communication equipment to include VHF, HF. I bought it all from England. They have really good radios over there, really good military hardened radios. The reason why I bought it is because they are not impervious, but they are protected from EMP.
Would the EMP even fry them if they weren't fucking
batteried
up at the same time?
Even if it's the
a lot of people say if it's inside a steel building or
you can make what they call a Faraday cage for things like even your cell phone. It would work for your cell phone if you put it in there. It's what you're trying to do is get that electric current. So basically all it is a giant electric current.
You have to ground it.
And that electric current hits your car. What it does is it's such a high amount of electricity or electromagnetic electricity that it just fries all the circuits in the vehicle. So technically, if you had a starter solenoid and you had it in the Faraday cage and the shit went down, you technically might be able to start your car. It just depends on what kind of car it is. That's why,
old Chevy's better, but that 91 out there has some circuit boards in it.
Yeah, the more circuit boards, the less likely you're going to get that thing. Like if you're driving a Tesla, that thing's done. It's done. But,
we've got a ton of ham radio equipment.
Yeah.
It is not synced up. I've got a ton of VHF, race stuff and chase radios, base antennas, base station, 50-watt stuff, vehicle mounts, intercoms in the razors, all that shit. Skully, what is the one firearm you didn't know you had to have?
Didn't know I had to have. The one firearm I didn't know I had to have.
CWIS.
Oh man, I wish I could have the Sea Whiz. That'd be awesome. I wouldn't even shoot it. I would just like Sea Whiz it around, you know. I wouldn't even. You wouldn't even have to give me bullets. It would be just cool. I'd mount it on the back of my pickup truck. That like I have now. You know, I love all guns, all shapes, all sizes. I guess the one gun I would say that I have that I didn't know I needed was the 1968. No, it was banned in '68. But the Cowboy action, the made in Germany Cowboy action pistol that I got in a brown paper sack. That I didn't know I needed that gun, but when he came in here with that thing, it wasn't here, it was back in Cali. But when he came in with that thing in the brown paper sack, I was like, man, I never bought a gun in a brown paper sack. I need to buy this gun.
Is it such a piece of shit?
Oh my god! I was like,
which is weird for a German firearm.
My thing is, I don't want to. I'm not trying to rob you. You know, if you need some money, if times are tight, I'm not trying to rob people with guns.
However, if you have the weaker hand.
But I'm saying, if you don't know how much the gun's worth, if you come to me and you're like, I don't know how much this gun's worth, all I'm going to do, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, look, I'm going to look this up on Gunbroker. Whatever the average is, we'll go with that. Take it or leave it. And that's usually pretty good. But this gun was made, it was like one of the first production guns that was allowed to be imported in the United States after World War II from Germany. And it was such a piece of shit that in the 60s, late 60s, we banned it. Like, it couldn't be imported in the United States anymore. Like, they're importing machine guns from Germany, but this thing was such a piece of shit that they wouldn't let them in the country anymore. So I'm like, you know, a guy came the next day and I'm like, look, here's the deal. This is what it is. It's not worth anything. I won't ever shoot it because they say it'll just blow up. But I go, but because you brought it here in a paper sack, and I've never bought a gun in a paper sack, I'm going to give you $100 for it.
Why don't we do a video, set it in a vise, and you can just pull it with a string and shoot.
Well, I mean, I think because it's only a 38. It's not, you know. I think it's
a real 38, like R38.
Yeah, R38s.
United States.
I think it would be fine, but you can tell, you know, like it's all pot metal. There was. I don't know how they got it in the United States in the first place, but it's.
I would want all gold plated. I would want all gold plated 1911s and 38 Super, and I would display them all on Cobra boots. I'd have just boots with Cobras, and then just have my gold 1911s and 38 Super right there.
Cobra boots. I like that. I like the idea of the Cobra boots. But yeah, that's the one gun I didn't know I needed.
With the Cobra heads. Did you get any animals from the estate sale link I sent you? I don't know who that is. Maybe Kip said that too. I have not been acquiring any animals. I've actually been getting rid of some animals. It's just the time of it. When we had a lot of bodies here, we were literally creating work in order to continue to employ some of those people. And a lot of times when that would happen, I was relying on them to take care of stuff. And if you're not on that shit on a regular basis, a lot of that shit is not taken care of the way it should be. So we have not been. We've our main really focus this last year was catching up on all of our back orders and getting all that shit done. So we've been operating pretty lean on manufacturing and internal stuff. Like we've been pretty lean, and we've done more this year than we did the year before. With we just had a lot of manpower before, and it was cool, and we'd talk about crazy shit, and somebody'd say something, and I'd try to one up them, and it was fun. But the manpower is just not here. Like, and we're getting the same amount, we're getting more shit done. Just the goofing off and shit like that, and the outside stuff. We used to have 5-6 dudes standing here and not have anything to do, so we would just fucking come up with something for them to do. And we don't have that right now. Those dudes aren't here. So we do need a guy. Not a local guy. Like if you want to come move here and a job. We have a real fucking job. It doesn't pay shit for money. So really we're looking for a younger person who doesn't have a lot going on and wants some life experience and be around some real fucking dudes for a couple of years and figure out what you want to do. We have that. If you're a 40-year-old man and you want to move here and you're looking for $50,000 a year, that is not this job. I mean, we'll hire a $48,000, but you better come with some fucking serious shit that we don't have.
Please buy yourself a pair of black pants, a good sturdy set of boots, a sleeping bag, and a hoodie, and wait by the front door. We'll let you know when you can come in.
Vintage versus modern watches. I don't know shit about vintage watches. I buy watches because I like the way they look. I know dudes have asked a bunch of times, like, do you have any Pateks or Audemars or Audemars or whatever, Rolex? I don't own any of that shit. I bought Hublots because Hublot was unobtainable to me. When I first saw them, I walked in the shop. The guys were polite to me. I'm like, I will never own a $20,000, $30,000 watch. The next time I went, they were so fucking cool to me that I bought a $1,000 ink pen. It was carbon fiber. It's fucking cool. Still couldn't buy the watch. When I went to buy the watch, they let me film inside their stores. At any location I went to, they were fucking cool. Fast forward, I owned a couple Hublots. I tried on a bunch of Rolexes, and the Rolex is small. For the money you pay, the Rolex is small. I like the bigger, more flashier watches. If you like Rolex, more fucking power to you. I'll probably eventually buy like a black and blue Rolex. I love Panerai stuff. It's a little bit bigger. It's fucking classy. Panerai's got a carbon fiber Carbotech out, and it's some ceramics that I really, really like. I went to buy an Audemars. I was going to buy a $73,000 watch. Walked in the store with the intention of buying the watch. They had just opened the boutique at the Crystal Mall in Las Vegas. We landed and went straight to Audemars. Walked in, and the watch was in the case that I wanted. They had just released a black and red watch like a month before that. Walked in, and the dude that was working in there, he was just kind of a little fucking cock. There was another customer in there. There was a lady helping that other customer. That dude who we spoke to, I'm like, hey, I want to buy this watch. Can I look at it? And he's like, you can't film in here. I go, I'm going to buy a $73,000 watch. I have to be able to film in here. He goes, you can't film in here. We're owned by Louis Vuitton, and that's the policy. I go, I film in Louis Vuitton all the time. In 5 or 6 different locations. It's never been an issue. He goes, sorry, you're just going to have to turn the camera off. I go, then I can't buy this watch. We went to leave. He made no effort to stop us, and I bought 3 Hublots that trip in Las Vegas. And Hublot has fucking always been awesome with me. They interact on my social media. Anytime there's a dude talking shit, Hublot, the actual fucking Instagram page, gets on there and goes, no, we know Mr. Willis. He bought these watches. The actual branches, the stores that I bought the watches from, they get on. So you'll get 3 fucking Hublot accounts commenting, saying, no, this is legit shit. They just, I like that they're into auto racing. I like what they're into, and they're a small enough company that you can actually fucking go and you can talk to the CEO of the company. You can go to a watch building deal where you go build your own watch in fucking Florida. Like, they're just small enough, and I like them. I really like the Hublot watches. And I know there's a bunch of dudes like, well, they lose their value, or it's not a fucking whatever. If you look at the shit talkers, the dudes talking shit, and then you look at their profiles, you don't see that they own any watches at all. Like, everybody giving me advice as to what I should buy, they never have what they're telling me I should buy myself. I haven't bought a watch in a long fucking time. I have watches, like, even when I'm wearing one of those watches, I got a $38,000 watch. Even when I'm wearing it, I still pull my phone out to see what fucking time it is, just out of habit. You want to watch? More power to you. The watches, I bought them because I wanted them. I didn't know what fucking Hublot was. I heard Jay-Z fucking talking about it. Stuff like that. So, a lot of dudes hit me up and they're like, I'm going to buy a watch. And what should I buy? Well, you should buy the watch you want. Do you want your friend to know you're wearing a Rolex, or do you want to buy a watch to tell time? Fucking G-Shock tells great time. Probably better than Rolex. I used to want a D-Shock until the Audemars came, or until the Paddock came. That's what that T Grizzly song says. I would tell you right now, if you're asking me about a watch, if you ask me about a specific watch, we can talk. But if you just want a watch, there's a lot of shit out there. Smith & Bradley's fucking those dudes. Jeremy is super cool. LoomTech is a great company to deal with. LoomTech has been so interactive with us. They're on our social media. I'm a LoomTech dealer. If anybody wants a LoomTech, find what you want. Send me a link to it. I'll get you a price on it. You pay for it.
Great watches.
And it's usually there in 2 to 3 days. FedEx will have it at your house in 2 to 3 days. If you can see it on the website, it's available. We can get it for you. If you want something, you want to move into a Rolex, by all means, Rolex, Breitling. Tag's done some cool shit. Tag is starting to look a lot more like Hublot because the CEO from Hublot went to Tag. I bought Tag watches. I have some Tags. I've got 5 or 6 of them. I've got some bunch of Formula Ones. I've got a Grand Carrera. They dropped the Grand Carrera from their line. That was the last watch I bought. That was an $11,000 watch, and then they dropped it, and that was their biggest watch. It's like wearing a fucking chick's watch. Like if I wanted to wear a little fucking watch, I'd get something little. But even like the LoomTech stuff is bigger than most of your Rolexes. And then with the big watches, there's other shit that comes with it. Like when I was wearing Hublots every day, I have a fucking wear mark. There's no hair right here, and I had a callus from the deal. It just depends. Really, it's just up to you, man. And Horton said something that has stuck with me all along. Like Jeremy Horton came in and had a LoomTech watch on. I'm like, man, that's really cool. It's in their military line. It's their combat line. I'm like, that is fucking rad. How much is that? He's like, $1,300. I go, fuck, man, I could buy a little truck around here for $1,300. I'm never buying a $1,300 watch. And he came in a couple months later. Like I saw Jeremy all the time, but a couple months later, he's like, hey, do you want that watch? I go, man, I can't afford $1,300. And I could. I'm just in my head. I couldn't fucking buy a $1,300 watch. He's like, I'll give it to you. Trade me a bunch of knife pouches because he's going to get ready for Blade Show. So I did that. And then he built this Panerai. And at the time, there was no black Panerai. He had it PVD'd, photovoltaic deprivation or something, makes it all black. Then he had the crystal taken out and anti-reflective coating on the inside and the outside. He had all the numbers completely reloomed. There's some dudes that are famous for working on Panerais and shit. So he's got this watch. I'm like, what's that cost? He goes, man, $6,000 the way it is right now. Came back in a little while the next year maybe, and he wanted some more knife pouches. He's like, give me $4,000 or whatever. I'm like, fucking done. So now I have a Panerai. I had just bought a Black Steel Avenger. Kane Tierney's fault. Like you couldn't fucking find them anywhere, and lo and behold, the fucking watch shop in the Palazzo has one. And I just bought I bought 2 tags, one for me and one for her. And at like midnight, he's like, they got it. So we fucking like 1 o'clock we're in there buying a fucking $8,000 watch. What was I saying? How did this even start? Where was I going with this? Buy what you like. But I would tell people right now. Oh, that's what it was, Horton. So I remember, Jeremy has a real heavy draw. Jeremy drink beer every now and then, say some crazy shit. But he was in one of those modes, and clear as day when he was, oh man, possum tree, dang dang, and then he goes, I don't know how it came up, but he goes, man, I just wear a shirt that one of my knife maker friends gave me. I wear some Dickie pants from Walmart every day. And I wear this really expensive watch so other dudes with expensive watches will buy my knives. Like clear as day, like somebody else said it. And that's held true. It's a club. Are you in the club? Do you want to be in the club? That's how you get in the fucking club. That's what it is. It's just like Porsche. You can buy whatever car you want. Yeah, those Porsches out there, that Toyota truck will get me fucking more reliably to wherever I'm going. It'll haul shit. It'll definitely haul more shit. But you're not in the Porsche club with that. And that's the same thing with the watches. I would tell people right now, coming to me and saying, I want to buy a $25,000 watch. I'd say, spend your money only on shit that will make you money right now. And that's what I've been doing for the last, year and a half, 2 years probably. And the more money you have, the more money you'll get. Skully, what's the longest shot you have ever made?
Under
930 feet uphill at a grizzly bear target.
Yeah, just under 13.
Under 13. What was it with?
An M40A1. That's right. I know what you're thinking. Man, that was fucking transonic at 900 yards. You just got to be good with your equipment. Learn your equipment. Don't ever think that you need to buy. Don't ever think you need to buy a new gun or a new fucking. Jesus, did I just say that? Don't ever think you need to buy a new gun or a new bullet until you shoot better than the capability of either one of those. You know, right now the Marine Corps has gone through. We're on our fifth iteration of rifle. Fifth iteration of new cutting edge technology rifles out there, and our Marines are running around with. And they have the same capability that the M40 had. Now, you know, the unilateral scope was already kind of old when I got to it, but we were still doing all the same things with that rifle that kids are doing today with the brand new stuff. And what the issue there is, everybody thinks they can fix something with a piece of technology. While technology helps, mastering whatever that is will make you better in the long run than to keep buying pieces of technology, because the technology ultimately is going to fail you. But yeah, 1300, just under 1300 with the M40 in Kuwait.
Mine was 975.
Yep, on a grizzly bear target uphill.
Shot him through the eye.
Through the eye. But
and all those ones that didn't hit steel, that's because I was shooting through that hole in the eye. What was
that range is still there. It's a nice range.
Paula Indian Reservation.
Yeah, still there.
I hear there's a motocross track now.
Yeah, I think they do.
What was that fucking gun?
Oh, I don't remember what that was.
Made from a truck axle.
Yeah,
barrel.
made from a truck axle.
We're not even on the gun. Like I'm pretty sure I'm standing up, and a gust of wind. It wasn't Jeff's gun. I wasn't on the gun, right?
No.
A gust of wind comes, blows the gun over, and the gun fucking goes off.
Yeah, we were there with a bunch of at that time those guys bench press shooters, and so you know they would have half a pound trigger pulls and shit, just crazy shit.
Skully's top 5 military figures.
Top 5 military figures. Well, number one is Sergeant Major Booker. Number 2 would be Colonel Pratt. Number 3 would be Colonel Powers. Number 4 is definitely Chris Hayes. And number 5, you know, it would kind of be a toss-up between General Patton and
I think that's
Chuck Mulwiney.
I think that's more what they were looking for.
I know that's what they were looking for, but guess what?
Carlos Hathcock.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so Hathcock has all these kills, right? Super sniper.
Yeah.
Not to take anything from him, but he was operating in a manner that the rules of engagement were fucking different. If we were out doing what he was doing, we'd be fucking on. I mean,
it's just, you know,
you got tattletales with you everywhere now.
The problem, you know, we tend to glorify certain things, and like right now we have some guys in the Marine that are no longer Marines, but who have that have kills that from these last 10 years that are way cooler, but they have faded into, those guys have faded into civilian life and are now doing bigger and better things. You know,
what would be bigger and better?
Whatever they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Like working at the Lego shop?
Yeah, they're probably like, I know one of them got a scholarship to go to school. So, you know, I don't know what they're doing, but
how many end up with special projects?
There's a few, but there's not a lot. I mean, you know, the thing about Marines is, especially Scout Snipers are the worst. Very disgruntled when they get out of the military. Very antisocial, even though they pretend to be social. And, you know, we're always calling each other out. The truth be known is, I know somebody at every level of the government, or somebody. I know all these Scout Snipers that are in these positions that, if Marine Corps Scout Snipers wanted to be a secret society, God, we could do so much cool shit. Because we know somebody, whether that's a federal judge, or a congressman, or police officers everywhere. I wish, snipers, if you do anything right, Marine Corps snipers do anything right, we need like a ring or an earring or something that we can all be like, wink, wink. Okay, you may pass. But yeah, they're everywhere. But we're disgruntled, so
I see a lot of them like trying to eat their own. Like,
yeah, you can't. I mean, you go on to like the Hog's Den or
that's what I'm talking.
The
Like,
Sniper
yeah.
Hide,
So these back rooms and these groups and shit.
Everybody will just start tearing each other apart as far as who's cooler and
you didn't do that. That didn't fucking happen.
Who shot here and what and whatever. I mean, I don't. That's kind of the reason why I don't do any. Like I'm not running out there. I'm not out there running around with Kalen Wojcik, trying to be the super sniper for America, because there's just too much in the sniper community. There's just too much dick measuring contests.
Who he put Kalen through, by the way.
And it doesn't. It kind of doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter what your experience level is. Like, for the truth be told, is the best snipers out there are either just getting out of the Marine Corps or they just graduated sniper school.
And we like Kalen also, fucking so. Even though he has a 24-foot tall poster of himself.
I don't like you, Kalen. Jumping out of airplanes all the time. You're making the rest of us look bad.
I like you. I appreciate you fucking using all our shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
even when you used to be a nerd, now you're not as nerdy.
Yeah, you're definitely a lot cooler.
Yeah, you're definitely a lot cooler. What about how come SEALs never? So the SEALs used to send snipers through Marine Corps Scout Sniper School.
You don't even want to
talk about this.
You don't even get me on that. Why SEALs can't pass sniper school?
I didn't even say it.
Why they can't?
I didn't even say it.
That's the one thing. When people talk shit about, when people are like, I'm a Navy SEAL or I'm a Green Beret or I'm a fucking Ranger. We drop you guys from sniper school all the time. I don't know. It just became a headache. Really, it became a headache for everybody involved. We out at First Marines, we would run. There are usually about 2 or 3 SEALs per class that would come through, and you kind of it's kind of unspoken agreement. Well, they don't get treated differently. They get treated differently because they're for the most part, a SEAL's going to be a little bit an older guy compared to what the Marine Corps sent it through, right? The Marine Corps, when you get a class on deck from the Marine Corps, it's 18-year-olds. 18 and 19-year-olds that I'm running through that class. For SEALs, they're usually a little bit older, not a whole lot older, but a little bit older. They've usually had a little bit more training.
Plus, you got to cut them loose to golf at least twice a day.
A little bit more experience. So you kind of got to treat them with kid gloves a little bit, but ultimately it boils down to, I don't need a SEAL to graduate from Marine Corps Scout Sniper School. You, for whatever reason, decided to come down here and you want to graduate from this school. It would be like a Marine going to Buds and them going, hey, you don't really have to fin today because you're a Marine. We know you can swim. It's bullshit. They would fuck you up just as hard as anybody else.
Worse.
But the problem with and it's not all SEALs, and it's not. I'm just saying, is they have to build a certain mentality of once you earn that trident, you know everything you need to know about being a Navy SEAL.
It's all downhill from there.
Yeah, it's all downhill from there. So once you become a trident, and the truth be told, it's the reason why they don't go to fucking Army jump school anymore. It's the reason why they had to open their own free fall school. It's the reason why the Navy SEALs have to kind of do all their own stuff because, if you don't feel like you have anything to learn, then you climb the tower at jump school and put a Navy flag on top of it. You open your reserve parachute in an aircraft full of 250 people that are now have to fucking emergency jump out of that plane because your chute is dragging them out. You do that because it's funny or it's cool because we're Navy SEALs. And anyways,
what the fuck is that? I didn't even hear about that.
Oh man, I'm sorry guys, but they ass clowned a lot back in the day.
Okay. Go-to whiskey, cheap or expensive?
Say what?
What's your go-to whiskey?
Oh, I don't drink.
I don't drink whiskey.
Yeah, I don't really drink anymore. The diabetes.
Oh, that's right.
I don't. So
you can drink. You know what you can drink?
What?
You can drink tequila. There's 0 carbs. You can also drink vodka.
Yeah, but everybody knows tequila's the devil's juice.
I don't go crazy when I drink tequila.
Yeah,
I go to sleep when I drink tequila. I haven't been drinking shit either.
Yeah, I don't really drink that. I don't really drink that much. If you come over and you want to drink, I will drink.
I do have a nice alcohol collection. I just don't consume it. What do you listen to while you're sitting in the T Grizzly? I saw somebody put up a meme the other day that said we grew up on rap music about selling drugs, and you're all growing up. All these kids now are growing up on music about using drugs.
Yeah.
And that really fucking struck home. I'm listening to stuff about, if you fuck with us, we'll kill you. If you fuck with us, we'll burn your house down. If you want to be a part of what we're doing, we'll all make money. Like, I grew up listening to all that shit, and that's kind of how I've operated my business. I always like Terry Crews was in some movies, like, I gotta get shot up and get in this rap game. Like, I kind of took that shit to heart. Anytime somebody was fucking with us and we could have a fight with them, it divided some people, but it put the people that were with you stronger with you, and it drew a lot of hype. We're still, Biggie and fucking Tupac are dead. Well, they're not. They're with Elvis in Africa, but
yeah.
But we're still talking about those fights they had, those beefs or whatever. I love when some dude comes out of the gate and starts talking shit about our product. It gives me something to do. We had a kid doing that, took one of our products and started doing that. When I find some guy copying a bunch of our shit, we dig through his fucking social media, and usually everything he's building is some shit we already build. But if I find one cool fucking thing or something he seems to be really proud of after he's copying all our shit, we'll build fucking 400 of them and give them away with every order. Like, we'll do that to fuck with him. We will maneuver in a manner that he's not capable of. And, like, that shit, you can ask Jeff, that shit drives me more than fucking anything else. So, it's good to work. T Grizzly, that's what I'm listening to. Go listen. If you don't know who he is, pick him, anyone. And a lot of the shit he says, like, it's like I wrote that shit for myself. Like, there's a lot of it in there. Well, just pick any one of his fucking songs and go listen to it. When did you realize you could use Facebook private groups for shit you want to? Well, the thing with the Facebook private groups is you can't even anymore. You used to be able to say anything you wanted to. You could be a lesbian dwarfs that fuck, Clydesdale horses. You could have had that group for a long time, and nobody was in there. But our groups are pretty good size now. Like, you don't ever know who's who in there. So, plus Facebook algorithms, they seem to be data mining that shit and removing stuff even from the inside. The big thing with the Facebook group is the notifications. So if you have a Facebook group with 1,000 people in there and I make a post in there, they see the notification much faster than if it's a general post. But we have 700,000 on the main page, so that's where we post it. So ideally, we post to the main page and then share it. And then just like yourself, Flores, thank you, man. Thank you for doing this. You guys take that shit that's posted and you share it so people see it. And that's the big thing. I'm not sure which direction you wanted me to go with that. But the groups are definitely, and then tiers, there's another level to this shit. If you give somebody some prestige, they want to go to the next level. And that's kind of it's like building the gear. We build a fucking ton of gear. No matter how much we build, we can still only build so much of it. Yeah. And it's never just sitting around waiting for somebody. Like, we could blow every piece of gear out if we ran a sale this weekend. We could get rid of all of it. Or you can look at it as an investment and sell it over a couple months and not put it on sale. So that's just kind of the thing with that shit. What are the chances of some Blaze orange gear? That dude has the same. We already did that one somewhere. Rifle case, optional backpack straps. Don't know. I don't know nothing about a rifle case. I talked to Lance last night. Lance is good. I'm not sure what all Lance is up to. I talked to him a few times. I saw he did a live video today. That's what gets me. All you guys asking about how Lance is. You act like Lance is on an island with no fucking no internet. Like, Lance has a Facebook page. I see Lance's posts. Like, fucking, you want to know how Lance is? If it's important enough to ask, tell Lance, hey man, I'm thinking about you. I'm
Yeah,
sure
get on
he'd
Lance's
appreciate
page.
it. And even more than that, go on his website, Tap Rack Bang EDC, and fucking do business with him. Give him $10, give him $100,
Yeah.
whatever.
Buy a soap.
Buy a soap, man. It's fucking good shit. I use it every day. It's so good. We bought like a fucking 1,000 bars of it.
Yeah.
Chances are possibly using Navy Digital. Man, I'd love to. I've never seen it available in a Cordura pattern. I haven't ever seen it, or at least I haven't found it. If somebody find that for me. Here's what I want. Find me the NWU, the blue digital camo Navy pattern in a 500 or a 600 poly or something, something nylon or poly. I would love to build some shit out of that. Also, while you're looking, find me 6-color chocolate chip desert. And I also need all those camo patterns. I need them in a 420 pack cloth or something like pack cloth. You guys sitting around that can you're on the internet and you know how to maneuver all that shit and you can find shit nobody else can find me that shit. There's more. We'll save these.
Rolex?
Yeah, there's another one.
Another watch one?
Mm-hmm.
I bought all my Rolexes in Hong Kong. There was an alley that you could go down, and the dude literally was selling Rolexes for $65 a piece. So I bought 4.
We were buying them in Mexico for like $15 back
I
when we were
bought
kids.
4.
First time you jump in a pool, that was the end of it.
I think they last. You know what? I want to say that they lasted. Every year you would have to transition to the next Rolex.
So there are good counterfeits. I do not own them. I have seen them. I've never had one of them. There are good counterfeits. And you'll see them if you get on Instagram and just start looking at fucking watch pages. You will find all these fucking counterfeit watches. There is a fucking counterfeit everything. It is fucking crazy, and they're using Japanese movements. You're gonna pay $500 to $800 for them, but man, you cannot. Some of that shit I've heard, you can't even tell the fucking difference when they pull the back.
Hong Kong is China. I know that sounds weird, but when you differentiate between whether it's coming from China or whether it's coming from Hong Kong is China, and when John's talking about counterfeiting stuff, all our companies, no foreign company can operate in China without giving them the intellectual property. So meaning you can't set up a factory there unless you actually give China
all your shit,
schematics, everything. So Dodge has a fucking car plant over there. All that intellectual property, the Chinese government now has. So what happens in a lot of those places is, during the day, when the Dodge guys are there or whoever, the Craftsman tool people are there, during the day when they're making legit Craftsman tools, the line is running. And then at the end of the day, they turn the lights off, they go home, and the next crew comes in and they run the line of Craftsman tools that are not real Craftsman tools. So I mean, they're getting better and better. But what you'll find is, especially in the high end market, like Strider, I'll just use them as an example. Strider is the #1 copied knife out of China, out of any knife company in the United States. They're #1. Like, if it was a competition, Strider Knives crushes everybody when it comes to being counterfeited. But what happens is you have a couple of varieties. Like you have counterfeits that say Strider Knives on them, and then you look at the knife and you're like, that's not even it's not even in the same ballpark as far as design or shape. Totally, you just look at it. It's got a picture of Chuck Mowini on the side of it, but it's
you took a fucking Pilot gas station.
Yeah, it's some funky thing that doesn't even look like a Strider. But then they make real copies. Now, the real copies are good, but the problem is once they start making real copies, they start costing more money to manufacture. So a good fake. So a good fake is going to cost you about $250. And when I say a good fake, I'm talking about good fake as in, I could pass it around here at the office. Everybody, just looking at a picture would be like, oh man, yeah, that's a Strider knife. I'll buy that from you. But to get a really good one, it's more expensive. They're about $300. So you get to the point where why not just buy a real one, right? Why would I buy this counterfeit one when I can buy a real one? Like we had one come into the shop that no one knew that it, like, a police officer actually brought it in, and he's like, "Hey, this was taken in a counterfeit ring. I just wanted to bring it here and show it to you guys." And when you looked at it, 100% Strider knife. But when you took it apart, the internal parts that they used were different, were not the same. So the hardware was different. So, you know, like we had a guy there, Christopher, who, you know, puts all the knives together, Ninja, and I was just taking it around and being like, "Hey, what's wrong with this knife?" As if it was a Strider knife. I'm like, "Hey, there's something wrong with this knife. We need to fix it." And everybody, for the most part, was like, they knew that there was something weird about it, but they couldn't. They're like, "I don't know what's wrong with it. It feels fine. It opens fine, blah, blah." But when I gave it to Christopher, it took him like 10 seconds. So he literally looked at it. He goes, "There's something wrong with it? Is it the lockup?" Got his tool out, took it apart. He's like, "Oh man, this is a fake. It's not real." It literally took him 10 seconds. So it happens. But they are, you know, the Chinese, that's their goal. They're actually going to overtake us probably next year. They'll be the biggest market in the world. And we will never regain that position. We won't be able to. And then India is right behind them to be number 2. So we're going to lose some of that large market. But it'll all depend on how we take over everything. So that's my take on counterfeit.
Are we going to have a wall?
Are we going to have a wall? I don't think so. I think the Republicans are going to cave. I think
they're going to be back in office because tax returns come out like next month for dudes.
Oh, the IRS has already said that the tax returns will go out. So really, there's a.
I don't get a tax return, so I don't.
Don't get me wrong. If you're one of these people that are affected, there's really a very small percentage, a very, very small percentage of the federal government that is not working, or that is not going to get paid.
Yeah, your Smithsonian. The Smithsonian's closed.
It's a really, really small percentage of people who are not going to get paid. Because presidents have been doing this, they actually protected all the people they actually protected all the people's pay that it affects, or that would create a problem, right? So the military's still going to get paid. All the people that work for the House and the Senate, those people are all still getting paid.
I think this check coming up, this next pay period, is the one.
Yeah, this is the one where
they wouldn't have gotten a check before this anyway.
Yeah, this is gonna be a problem, and it sounds like a lot. It's about anywhere. I want to say the number was between 650 and 800,000 people.
They got fucking TSA. They got chicks from TSA on there fucking crying about, and they're reporting that the pilots are. Issuing concern because TSA is...
Yeah, it's all drama. They're just drama to get people to be like, "Hey, you need to make sure they're all getting paid." Even if they go past their payday, they're going to get back paid. So when they finally decide to open the government, it's not like the government's going to be like, "Oh, well, we're only going to start paying you now." They're going to get paid.
I saw on several videos that the Federal Employees Credit Union or whatever,
and they
said, "Come on in, we'll just fucking cut you a check."
Yeah, there's plenty of outlets that are going to be helping these people get through this trying time, because it is federal employees. Why would they help them? Because it's a guaranteed check. The federal government is going to open back up. They are going to get paid, and it is really all smoke and mirrors.
Stop and ask yourself this. All those federal employees that aren't going to be at work doing their job, does it fucking directly affect you in any fucking way?
Probably not. Not anybody that's watching this. I mean, so it's
all better. This is what we've been asking for.
It's all just smoke and mirrors. The reality is, the only people that shouldn't be getting paid is all those elected officials.
Yeah, they're all getting paid still.
Not a single one of them should be getting paid. Really doesn't affect Trump, right? Because he just gives his check away.
All right, guys.
All right.
It's gone long enough. We'll do another one tomorrow. The videos go up a couple days after the podcast. Listen to the audio. Watch the video a couple days later. It might mean something different because of body language or whatever. Check out our Amazon link. SOE Tactical Gear is the shop. Check out the website, Facebook, Instagram. Get on there. Please interact with us. If I know, I see it says fucking 8,000 people fucking watch this. Leave a comment. It actually changes shit for us. Help us out. And share our stuff, man. Share it. Like, leave comments on wherever you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast from. Please comment on that shit. It changes it for us. All you guys are like, you guys should have so many more listeners. You know why we don't? Because you guys are lazy. Stop being lazy.
Hey, also, if you're a Navy SEAL, come on, man. I'm just joking.
Hey, everybody knows that when you need some people killed, you send Navy SEALs. When you want to start a religion, build a church, or pave some roads, you send Special Forces.
Well, that's true.